Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome to each of the witnesses. Thank you for being here. Dr. Pat, always good to see a fellow Texan. Welcome to D.C. I'll note, Chairwoman Cantwell observed that all four of our witnesses are doctors. Reminds me of the scene from the classic comedy Spies Like Us, doctor, 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 doctor. So welcome, doctors. Dr. Mulligan, no one wants higher drug prices. And I think we need to look for creative solutions to lower them. But with every legislative solution, we got to consider the trade-offs, especially when our solution is to grant additional authority to a government agency to regulate in a particular market. Government regulation can create substantial compliance costs. It can also create barriers to entry for competitors in a market. This bill imposes both contractual disclosure requirements, meaning it tells PBMs they must share data on how much they pay providers and manufacturers for each drugs, and it also prohibits things like clawbacks and spread pricing. Dr. Mulligan, one argument for the bill is that there's too much consolidation among PBMs right now. We've heard that argument made this morning. In your analysis of the bill, could the bill's requirement lead to more or less market consolidation of PBMs? Please turn your microphone on.
It could lead to more. We doctors maybe should try not to do no harm. The regulations generally, they disproportionately burden the small businesses, and this bill doesn't have any exemption for smaller businesses. And the vertical integration that's been described is especially problematic with respect to this bill because the requirements are going to be telling the bigger PBMs, how much does your left hand pay your right hand? Well, they could just answer that any way that pleases the FTC. It doesn't really matter. What's going to matter is for the smaller companies.
So I want to follow up on the question. So you're saying it would be beneficial if you want to avoid market consolidation for the bill to have some sort of exemption for smaller PBMs. Is that?
It'd be better not to have the bill, but the bill with an exemption for smaller businesses, like we do so with so many other regulations, would be an improvement.
Okay, that's helpful. If this bill was enacted into law, based on your economic analysis, how would it impact drug prices for the average American?
300 million plus Americans are in insurance, and insurance companies, they are the benefit managers, or they hire people to do the benefit management for them, and that's what they want. They want lower prices and better utilization. And you're undermining that activity, and so drug prices will go up. I estimate just the pharmacy part alone could add to premiums about $10 billion a year in aggregate.
So explain how that is for someone at home who's watching this. Look, we've all been in a situation where you're paying too much, you're frustrated, you're dealing with the bureaucracy, and it pisses you off. Explain what you believe would be the negative consequences of this bill for a consumer at home that wants high-quality health care, high-quality pharmaceuticals at an affordable price. If I understand you correctly, you're concerned this bill would be counterproductive for that.
That's right. We have pharmacy companies and manufacturers who have market power. And the best way consumers will be able to deal with that is to join these buyers clubs, like they do with Costco. And now you're going to undermine the one tool they've had to try to create some competition in that space by burdening the very companies whose job it is and who have successfully gotten lower prices for the consumers.
So if you're correct that this bill would hurt patients by driving up costs, typically when one group is being hurt in the economy, somebody else is doing better. So if consumers would lose money, who would get the money? Who makes out well under this bill?
Well, it's not a zero-sum game, so the winners actually gain less than the losers from this bill. But the winners are the manufacturers. There'll be less competition among manufacturers.
So like Big Pharma?
Big Pharma, and the pharmacy companies.
So your testimony is this bill benefits Big Pharma and allows them to make more money. Is that right?
Yes, and the report I put in the record has a numerical estimate to that effect, yes.
And based on your analysis of the legislation, what do you calculate would be the additional cost to the federal government if this bill passed?
I still have to see how Chairwoman Khan interprets some of these words in the bill, but easily $10 billion a year to the federal deficit, maybe $40 billion a year, maybe more.
So over 10 years, you're talking somewhere between $100 billion to $400 billion in cost to the taxpayers?
Yes, it's in the ballpark of that rebate rule that was scored by OACT and CBO.
Wow. Okay, thank you, sir.
Senator Welch.